Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about the situation in DC through a funny anecdote of sorts, but also, I think, an illustration of the sort of deeper rootedness now of a DC population that is really not happy about this pretextual occupation of the nation's capital. Okay, so the focus here is on the latest hero of public resistance, Sandwich Guy. So, as you may know, a DOJ long-time employee did an obvious protest move because it was in plain sight. He didn't run away. He didn't try to deny it. He must have at least suspected what the consequences would be. And sure enough, they're about as severe as they could come. But he took a sandwich like a hoagie and threw it at a federal agent. And this has been a viral moment that has swept national TV, but certainly the district, and in particular in the district. And I can vouch for this personally. There's a kind of tradition of graffiti and certain memorable images that just get plastered over different places within DC. And that's happened to Sandwich Guy. Sean Charles Dunn is his name. But so he's captured on video hurling a footlong, and we are seeing all over the city plastered images of him rearing back with the footlong with some color paint, ready to hurl, and just one after the other with a mask and a backward cap and a sort of strong, dramatic, back motion for his throw and bent elbow. That's like become iconic and becoming all the more iconic within the district. There actually are a few different images out there that are celebrating his move. This was not a kind of, even though it's funny to think of a sandwich, it was a really definite act of protest. He shouted at officers who were crossing an intersection in a popular nightlife area. Anyone who's been in the district knows it. Says, "Fuck you, fascists." Then chanted, "Shame," walked away and said, "I don't want you in my city." And then minutes later, he returned, kept on shouting, and chucked his footlong salami sandwich. And he then fled on foot, but he was, it was easy enough to identify him. And a few days later, 20 federal agents came a-knocking and cuffed him at his front door. And Janine Perot, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, said, "We're going to charge him with a felony that's punishable by up to 8 years in prison." Presumably it involves some kind of assault on an officer. Pam Bondi follows up and says, one, he's fired from his job. That, no surprise. But then, sure enough, the rhetorical pushback is, this is an example of the deep state we have been up against for 7 months as we work to refocus DOJ. So she's trying to really vilify Sandwich Guy, and I think it's probably only serving to increase his popularity within the district. Anyway, he's been charged. He's got a lawyer, and after that, and currently, is when basically the picture I have described is just popping up around the city. There's a kind of, just as like at concerts, people hold up lighters. There are people just going around the city with, this has been great for Subway, the sandwich shop, because they're holding Subway sandwiches up to the sky at protest. There's a T-shirt. So it's a bit of a protest movement. And the fact there's something that is pretty memorable as an artistic image, yes. But the fact that this has become so popular, it's reminiscent. Maybe the last time something like this happened was the Black Lives Matter movement in the wake of George Floyd's killing. But this is really now pretty big within DC, and just a tangible indication that you have a population that is none too pleased at having been invaded. And of course, why would they be? Normally, if there's a true crime emergency, you can have the federal government come in to help, usually at the behest of local officials. Here, there is no emergency, but they lie flagrantly about the emergency that doesn't exist, and then come in, and Trump is just making it plain that he wants to have a permanent occupation of the Capitol. The law is clear. You can't do it more than 30 days. And so he wants to. And the one way to do it is if he can get all of Congress, both houses. It's almost like passing a law to do a resolution saying you can stick around. So this is kind of like an occupied city from a foreign power with an underground movement that he's become the unlikely image for, if not spokesperson for. And as his case proceeds, so will the kind of idealization of him in images. And we got an interesting question coming up. DC is a district where it's not a done deal to be able to indict people. So they have charged him first in a criminal complaint, but they're going to need to do an indictment for the charges they want. Are they going to have trouble? Will a grand jury of citizens and peers reject the serious criminal charges that they're going to try to do against Dunn? So this kind of unlikely emergence as a symbol of the protest is not going away, and it's gonna, become more intense as the case goes on. So it's the sort of thing in protest movements that can kind of catch fire and actually be a showing of popular resistance. And that's, I think it's fair to say, who and what Sandwich Guy has become. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.